That was dry land yesterday. Just kidding. Royals were rained out, so what was going to be a 4-game series is now a 3-game series beginning tonight with the White Sox. And Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Fly ball well hit to right. Mike Moustakas has given the Royals a 3-2 lead. Yeah, go! Moustakas, did he make that catch? He did!
Those people helped me up the entire way, didn't let me fall, and kind of lifted me up out of there. It was pretty awesome.
Moustakas into right center field. Bautista will watch. Come on. Broken back. That is caught. Going off the back is Cespedes, and the game is over.
On the ground, base hit center field. Mike Moustakas comes off the bench and ties it in the 9th inning. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. Tonight is game number 47 for the Royals. It's also game number 1 without homegrown all-star Mike Moustakas. The Royals will fill his spot at third base with Cheslor Cuthbert. But for a team built on chemistry, the obvious question is, how will this be handled in the clubhouse?
You just deal with it. You never want to see it happen. You don't want to see a play that takes out 2 of your all-star players, one for a month and the other for the rest of the season. But it happens, and you have to deal with it, and you got to move on. So, we got to find ways to pick up that production. We feel real confident with Cheslor's defense at third, and, as a group, we got to find ways to pick up Moose's production, and, I'm confident we can do that too.
Well, Hud, it's a big loss for the Royals, but also an opportunity for somebody else.
That's what it is, and injuries provide that. Now, you never want to take a job when a guy gets hurt, but still, Ned talked about finding production. Something tells me they're going to pick up his slack.
Yeah, and the Royals are really starting to pick it up offensively. Hud, there's red hot, there's white hot, and then there's lava hot. And Hud will talk about 3 guys who are lava hot when we come back.
Ready to start this series. First game between the White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Really nice timing as the Royals are getting some guys hot, especially with the first place White Sox in town. Really nice to see some guys heating up, and like we said, they're not just firecracker hot, they're lava hot. Salvador Perez, he's been unconscious. 542 average, 11-game hitting streak, and Paulo Orlando, to me, has the purest swing so far and the hottest swing. 9-game hitting streak, 550. And Lorenzo Cain, oh man, he's cranking it up in May, hitting 440 on that road trip. Very nice to see these guys get hot, picking up some of the slack now with Moustakas out. And next, Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery will tee you up on Danny Duffy.
Go back to work. Third start now since coming into this rotation. We're going to see what makes Danny click here. He's been really good so far in his first 2 starts. Hopefully tonight he's going to carry that same approach into this start. He's been very efficient, loves that fastball. He got a great fastball, using it very effectively, very efficiently. Also doing a nice job filling his position out there. How about his first start against the Braves? Danny Duffy, one of the best plays of the year. Looking to keep that thing rolling tonight. Nice curveball. He's using his curveball and a changeup to back up that dynamic fastball. So Danny Duffy's got it all working right now. Love to see him go maybe into that 5th inning tonight. So Danny Duffy, really like what we're seeing from him. Keep it going, Danny Duffy. And when we come back, Ryan Lefebvre will talk about those White Sox who've been struggling just a little bit.
moments away from making his big league debut against the Chicago White Sox, the struggling Chicago White Sox. You know, 1 week before the Royals went to Chicago, the White Sox had a 5-game lead over the Indians and a 6.5-game lead over the Royals. The Royals took 2 out of 3. The White Sox have really struggled since. They have lost 3 in a row, 9 of their last 12. And like the Royals earlier this year, a lot of that is tied to runs per game and hitting with runners in scoring position. So Danny Duffy gets the start tonight. Danny has not allowed an earned run since going back into the rotation. Game 1 of a 3-game series is next. .73 degrees, a bit on the muggy side, but the important thing is no rain. Maybe later tonight, so we hope to get 9 in after the rain out last night. The Chicago White Sox lineup is void of left-hand hitters against Danny Duffy, so no Adam Eaton. Austin Jackson will lead off, and no Alex Avila behind the plate. It'll be the switch hitter Deano Navarro batting 9th. And that's because left-hand batters are hitting .185 this year against Danny Duffy. And his first pitch is a fastball fouled away by Austin Jackson.
Yep, Mr. Duffy, he's got plenty of heat for him, that's for sure. His fastball, he's been using a lot more this season, 12% more than he did last year, averaging 96 on that, a slurvy breaking ball, and a very nice changeup to righties.
2 fastballs, that one at 96, and it's 0-2 against Austin Jackson. Now 2 foul balls. It's early in the game. Don't want to make too much of this, but Danny went 4 1/3 in his start on Saturday against the White Sox, and he was hurt by a lot of foul balls. It really added to his pitch count. And a changeup, fastball, fastball, changeup, and Austin Jackson is down on 3 pitches.
Ooh, man, and he had nice command with that pitch. It's a field pitch. If he can get that pitch over along with that heater, that's all he might need. Big difference in speeds there, and you can see why. The lefties, you mentioned it, Ryan, 185, and righties, he's done a great job keeping them under 260. Just 1 home run allowed. He's been really good so far, and like Monty said in the pregame show, hopefully he'll get to 5 innings. But you mentioned the foul balls. You know, that's going to be something that's, you know, when you throw hard like him up in the zone, those guys foul him off. That taxes the pitch count.
And Hud, it was 18 foul balls out of 63 pitches, so almost 1 out of every 3 pitches that Danny Duffy threw against the White Sox on Saturday was fouled away. So high pitch count, in that case, not his fault. He wasn't falling behind. 3-1, 3-0. 0-2 counts. We're not turning into 2-2 and 3-2 counts.
No, and what's going to be important too is when he does get 2 strikes on hitters, finish him off. With his stuff, he doesn't need to nibble.
Really jam Cabrera, and it's Whit Merrifield going to shallow right field to make the play on Melky. Here are the Royals defensively tonight, presented by Ford, and an outfield of Dyson, Cain, and Orlando. Jessler Cuthbert is now the everyday third baseman. Alcides Escobar at short. Whit Merrifield has played 4 different positions already for the Royals. Back at second base tonight.
So where's Whit? We're going to have to start coming up with that if he keeps playing every day, and if he keeps swinging that bat like he is. Ned'll find a place for him out there, I guarantee you.
Todd Frazier with 2 down, and that fastball is right by him at 96.
I like how he's attacking the strike zone.
Another changeup. So he's got his fastball and his changeup working tonight. Paulo Orlando makes the play. And how about an 8-pitch? 1, 2, 3, top of the first for Danny Duffy. The first inning for Danny Duffy, and now the Royals are coming up against Miguel Gonzalez and feeling pretty good. The Royals went 4-2 on the road trip, and in Minnesota, that just completed Minnesota series, the Royals scored 22 runs and hit .357 with runners in scoring position. So they've really turned that statistic around. Whit Merrifield will fill the void in the number 2 spot with Mike Moustakas out for the year, and will face right-hander Miguel Gonzalez. Now, Danny Duffy's last start was against the White Sox. Gonzalez's last start was against the Royals. It was Duffy and Gonzalez in Chicago last Saturday. Escobar gets a breaking ball and hits a base hit into left field. So he didn't get a first pitch fastball like he normally does, but he got a first pitch strike, and he's on to begin the bottom of the first.
Yeah, a lot of starting pitchers, first pitch of the game for them, they're going to go with the fastball because they have pride. I got moxie. I'm going to throw it. I don't care if he swings at it. He can't hit my pitch. So there's a little wrinkle, and that wrinkle turns into a base hit on a slider. Ball spun, didn't have a lot of break to it. Gonzalez has a fastball averaging 91 miles an hour. A split finger, which is really a good pitch for him. Slider and curve. Mainly fastball, split finger.
Outside to Whit Merrifield. Whit hit .350 during the road trip. 7 hits, and 3 of those hits were doubles. Slider is in for a strike, and the count is 1-1. So Whit Merrifield is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Playing 3 different positions. This is the series at Minnesota. 6 hits, 3 doubles, 4 runs scored. He had 3 straight multi-hit games. And there's a base hit into center field. Escobar will round second and hold. Zox and Jackson closed in on that ball quickly. And here come the Royals with 2 on and nobody out.
I love how Merrifield uses the big part of the field. That's a 2-seamer. Didn't have much sink to it, but he was waiting on it. Didn't try to pull it. His little one-hand, top-hand takeoff swing is working because that bottom hand does most of it. He's guiding it up the middle. That's very safe and a high percentage of hits that come in that direction. So now 2 guys that can run well on the base. See if LORENZO can make something happen again.
And Lorenzo Cain has worn a hole in the White Sox in his career. Let's see how Gonzalez pitches him. First pitch slider, and it's Garcia going to the line in right field. That is a foul ball catch. Escobar goes to third. And a look at the White Sox defensively. The White Sox last year had an awful year defensively. They committed 105 errors. Their defense has improved this year. They are +7 in defensive runs saved. And with Danny Duffy on the mound tonight, it's Diana Navarro getting the start over Alex Avila. And now Eric Hosmer with Escobar at third and Merrifield at first, 1 down.
Lorenzo Cain was able to advance 1 runner. That's good. It's what they want in this situation here. Less than 2 outs. Easier opportunity to score him. Mentioned Diana Navarro getting a chance to catch tonight. He's thrown out just 18% of would-be base stealers so far this year. He's a good catcher, though. He's got good signal calling abilities and walks the ball pretty well. And you know, Merrifield has good speed, still hasn't ripped off a big league base yet.
Breaking ball to Hosmer, and that's hit hard and foul into the crowd. Hosmer was just 3 out of 25 on the trip, so he's cooled off after being the Royals' most consistent hitter through the first 40+ games. But he was picked up by several teammates in Chicago and Minnesota, and now trying to drive in the first run here tonight. No balls and 2 strikes. We alluded to this earlier, our Toyota league leaders, and remember how much the Royals were struggling early with runners in scoring position, batting just barely over 200, second from the bottom in the American League, but in the last 21 games they are first in the American League. They had 42 at bats with a runner in scoring position in the Minnesota series.
Yep, just great how they turned it on. Now it's not that easy to flip a switch.
Good swing. Still 0-2.
But it is nice to see other guys pick up Haas in the meantime has been pulling off the ball a tad. These few swings he's had tonight on Gonzalez looks good. He's keeping his bat head through the zone. He's pulling off just a tad with his head still. But once he gets those base hits to the opposite field, it'll cure all.
Royals' hottest hitter waits on deck, Salvador Perez. Navarro wanted that pitch up. He didn't want it up and away. And it's 1-2.
Rusty Kuntz over there at first base talking to Merrifield. Letting him know. Keeping his hands on him. Saying, look, you know what? It's not a good time to run right now. Let's just pick a better spot later. Let Haas do his thing.
Made contact. Escobar comes to the plate. Hosmer is out. The Royals get the run home. So 2 on, nobody out. A foul out to right and a bouncer off the plate gives the Royals a 1-0 lead.
Good jump by Escobar. You can see that big candy hop like that. Hitters, or excuse me, base runners, they see that right away and reacted in timely fashion. He broke immediately. Had he not broke immediately, I think Abreu might have had a shot at him at home.
And now Salvador Perez. Minnesota, I'm sure, discussed a police escort to get him out of town after that 3-game series, just to make sure he got out of town. And Gonzalez gets a ground ball to short, and that's the inning. So for the White Sox, it could have been a lot worse. The Royals get a run on the Hosmer ground out and a 1-0 lead at the end of 1.
Kessler, Cuthbert having fun. 3 good friends in the dugout before the game, as they have been teammates quite a bit at AAA and now here in the big leagues. Joel Goldberg back down by the first base dugout, and talking to the Royals, they know, yes, we've lost 2 All-Stars and a Gold Glover, a Platinum Glover. Not easy to replace that. Not easy to replace the power at the plate of those 2 players. But the general thought, guys, is this, that what they are replacing those guys with is youth, athleticism, and energy, and a great group of guys, including the likes of Paulo Orlando, who have all come up together and played in the minor leagues, and they're really counting on that youthful exuberance to pick up the pieces.
That's right. They are energy givers, and that's what young players bring. And they're not just bringing, 2 years ago of experience. These guys are all well seasoned in the minors. They're ready. They understand how to play the game. And they've been waiting for their shot, and now it's coming, and now it's time to slow everything down, not speed everything up. Slow it down and seize the moment.
And Danny Duffy is 0-2 on Jose Abreu, who is batting 4th again. He was really struggling leading up to the Royals White Sox series in Chicago, and Robin Ventura had him batting 2nd to take some of the load off of him. That's of the many benefits of being a championship caliber club, is that when you're winning at this level, you don't need to dip down into the farm system very often, so those guys can play an extra 100 or 200 games. So when they're called up, they're not as much of a mystery. They're ready to play. They're ready to contribute.
Exactly. And they know how to play the game. That's the important thing. They're not going to come up here and make mistakes because of lack of experience. It's the same game, and that's what you tell yourself. So far, I like Danny Duffy, how he's just coming in there. Now, for Eibner, since he got a shot, Eibner, DHing, more nerve-wracking. Look at him. He's got a lot of nerves in there. You can feel him.
He doesn't have the benefit of catching a fly ball in the outfield and saying, okay, I'm in the game.
Yeah, all he's doing is just thinking about his swing. You could tell he's got some butterflies.
Hud, I would think for him too in Omaha. Paulo Orlando's here, Cheslor Cuthbert's here, Whit Merrifield's here. Those guys check the box score of the big league team, and they see former teammates getting 2-3 hits a game. That has to be a shot of confidence before they even get here. Fastball at 97, just locked up Jose Abreu, and Danny Duffy has already struck out 2.
Ooh, man, Duffy, he means business tonight. Oh, that's right down the middle. Cheese at the knees. Abreu's got to go.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Highest percentage of strikeouts per batter in the American League. And Danny Duffy is 3rd behind Danny Salazar and David Price. He's also had a very good changeup. He got Austin Jackson to strike out on a changeup in the first inning and got Todd Frazier to fly to right on a change in the first inning.
Nice to see him bring those in early, and he knows he's going to have to because most major leaguers love that hard fastball. Tonight they're a little behind it, a little tardy. White Sox .266 hitting team against lefties. 7 homers. Their record, by the way, 3-7 against when a left-hander starts.
In on him at 95, 1-2 on Jerry Sands, who's the White Sox designated hitter. Changeup. Fastball changeup. He hasn't shown him his breaking ball yet, but Duffy has faced 5, retired 5, and struck out 3.
You have that kind of velocity, and then you have that feel for that changeup now. 2 pitches is all he needs. And he is pounding the strike zone. And listen to the greeting that Laurie gets here at the K.
Welcoming him back to Kansas City. Fastball at 96 for a strike. Remembering last April when Brett Laurie slid hard into Alcides Escobar and knocked Esky out for a few games.
Could have been worse.
There's the breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Laurie and Jimmy Rollins both have the best numbers against lefties on the team.
97, and he just got a piece of it.
Laurie hitting .324 with a homer off of lefties, and Rollins 524 with a homer. There you go.
Fastball 96, struck him out. 6 up, 6 down in the first 2 innings with 4 strikeouts.
Woohoo! Danny Duffy sizzling to start this one.
1-0 Royals as Paulo Orlando will lead off. Kia puts us in the driver's seat where Paulo has been in his career against the White Sox. Originally a member of the Chicago White Sox. Royals got him in a trade for left-hand pitcher Horacio Ramirez in 2008. He spent more time in the Royals farm system than he did in the White Sox farm system. So I'd imagine both organizations claim Paulo Orlando. So not originally signed by the Royals, but I think he's a homegrown player, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. He helped the Royals win a world championship. Solid. Whenever you can acquire a player and he helps with that whole thing.
Horacio Ramirez, by the way, lasted only 3 more years in Major League Baseball after the trade. Paulo Orlando hit .550 during the road trip. Up the right field line, slicing foul. Still 1-2.
Yeah, normally Paulo, he's swinging first and second pitches. Not tonight. He's never faced Gonzalez before. But look at that road trip you're talking about, scalding hot. Really attacking every first pitch he can. Very aggressive. Keeping his hands inside the ball, using the whole field. Mainly hits to right field and center.
2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, when you think of the White Sox, you think of Chris Sale, you think of Jose Quintana. The Royals were impressed with Miguel Gonzalez. He gave up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. He struck out 8, which was a season high. No walks. Right center field. Well hit. Long run for Jackson and Garcia. And Garcia, who's a big man but a good athlete, makes a play running onto the warning track. Royals didn't have a lot of good swings against Miguel Gonzalez in that game last Saturday. A game that the Royals won 2-1, by the way.
He didn't last long, 4 1/3, but that's belt high, and he's got the right path to the ball, just a little bit underneath it, or else he might have had a triple. Tough for a right-hander to go opposite field here at the K. It's been done, but not very often.
Chesler Cuthbert takes a slider for a strike. Batting at .237 in 2 stints with the Royals this year. It's hard to predict, Hud, but I would imagine getting starts here and there with Mike Moustakas down, maybe trying to prove something in a shorter period of time. Now he knows he's going to be playing every day at third. Will that have a positive effect on him?
Does first at bat here. He'll drop that in there for a nice single. But yes, he's going to tell himself what changes. Nothing. It's still a day-to-day game. They're still going to try to get me out. I'm going to catch the ball and throw it across the diamond. And now look who's hit.
So Brett Eibner, drafted by the Royals in 2010. By the way, look that up. That was a good draft for the Royals. A lot of players made it to the big leagues in that draft, but one injury after another just kept knocking him down, and now here he is at 27 years old getting his first big league at bat. Fastball is in for a strike. Mother Carol, father Dan looking on, recording it on the phone.
Even though we have the best cameras in the world.
That's right. Probably put the phone down because the hands were sweating. Now just watching his stance, Hud, he's got a little bit of a kind of a Gary Sheffield thing with him, and if you're going to hit like that, you got to have some quick hands, right?
You're right, but you know, I like the comparison you gave me earlier before the game when you said he reminds you a little bit of Michael Young, the great Texas Ranger hitter. Upright stance. You're right about that little. Oh man, he takes a rip. It was controlled though, because he's really nervous right now.
Here are the numbers that sent him to the big leagues. 10 home runs, 28 driven in, a .411 on base percentage, and a .537 slugging percentage. So that's what he did against AAA pitching. We'll see how he does against big league pitching. Fastball, strike 3 over the outside. And here's what you were talking about earlier as the designated hitter now. He's got all that time to think about his first major league at bat and all that time to wait until his second at bat.
Very difficult call on your major league debut to be the DH. Tough. Maybe Abner will be a little more aggressive on that first pitch next time.
So 2 down to Jarrod Dyson. Dyson jumps on the first pitch. Dyson had a good trip. He had .462 against the White Sox and the Twins. Batting at .259 overall. Slider in on him. No balls and 2 strikes. That pitch doesn't break much. I guess we call it more of a cutter than a slider.
That's what I'm going to call it, because that's what it looks like. It just has a little bit of a wrinkle, and that's it.
One and 2. Navarro points his glove out at Gonzalez. That's right where he wanted that pitch. They just couldn't get Jarrod Dyson to bite.
Last time they saw Gonzalez, he used that 4-seam fastball when he had 2 strikes on the hitter. Garcia and Wright showing no respect for the pull power of Dyson. Very shallow.
On the ground to Laurie. And that's the inning. So the Royals strand Cuthbert in the bottom of the second inning. We're going to visit with Mike Moustakas when we come back to Kauffman Stadium. 1-0 Royals at the end of 2. .22 pitches, 19 strikes for Danny Duffy, and 4 strikeouts in his first 2 innings. He'll get Jimmy Rollins, Avisail Garcia, and Deanna Navarro in the top of the 3rd inning. I mentioned Mike Moustakas would be joining us. He'll join us during the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jimmy Rollins did not play 1 game at shortstop when the Royals were in Chicago. He did appear in a couple of games as the designated hitter. And on his hands. And an easy play for Merrifield. 1 down. All right, Shocker fans, tomorrow is Wichita State Day. The first 2,000 fans who bring their Wichita State theme ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition gray, black, and gold branded KC cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Purchase your theme tickets at Royals.com/theme tickets. One down to Avisail Garcia. He jumps on the first pitch at 94 miles an hour.
Garcia 174, 1 homer against lefties. Not doing much. 4 for 15 in his career off of Duffy. Big guy. Good, powerful swing. Still waiting for him to put it all together, though.
Yeah, and you wonder if his standing is the same with the White Sox. They made that trade with the Tigers a couple of years ago, and he was a big prospect coming out of the Tigers organization and had a shoulder injury, had his career derailed by injuries in the last couple of years. Batting 8th, by the way. Chops it out to Cuthbert. He gets a nice big hop, and there are 2 down. He was the kind of guy that the White Sox figured would be batting 3rd, 4th, or 5th in their batting order. So Danny Duffy has retired the first 8. And we'll get Deoner Navarro.
Duffy attacking with the fastball. He has thrown a few first pitch changeups so far, first time through.
Good spot. 0-1 on Navarro, who has a word or two for Angel Hernandez. Maybe thought that pitch was inside. I always thought catchers had to be careful when they were at the plate. The umpires are supposed to remain professional, but you say the wrong thing, and then when you're back of the plate with the gear on, you want that same call for your pitcher.
Right. They need to watch what they say. Everybody does. Umpires are human.
Slide step. So he threw off Navarro's timing, and Lorenzo Cain is there to make the play. 30 pitches in 3 scoreless innings for Danny Duffy. Inning number 3 took just 8 pitches. We'll chat with Mike Moustakas when we come back. Pop up off the bat of Melky Cabrera. Even with this collision, that the Royals would lose 2 All-Stars on 1 play. Alex Gordon breaks his wrist. We thought it was a bone contusion to the knee for Mike Moustakas, but our University of Kansas hospital injury report, we found out yesterday, a torn right ACL. And Moose, I'm sure there's 100 other things you'd rather do than talk about this, but I'll bet a lot of Royals fans just want to know, coming off the best season of your career and a World Series championship, and before we get to 50 games, you're done for the year. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, just a little disappointed I can't be out there, you know, grinding it out with the boys. I think that's the biggest thing, you know. Get down. I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, going out there and, you know, grinding out and playing baseball with the boys.
Did you have, I mean, you're an athlete, you know your body. Did you have any idea? You didn't get a chance to see it, but after the collision, we had a shot of you walking back to third base and kind of favoring that leg. Did you have any idea that it might be something serious?
No, I thought it was just from the collision with Gordo. I thought, you know, when he hit me and I hit him, I thought it was just, you know, a little bruise in my knee, and, you know, a couple of days and it'd go away. But, you know, after a couple of days, I tried to test it out and it didn't go so well. So, you know, Nick and KT thought it'd be a good idea to get an MRI, and ended up, you know, coming up with a torn ACL. So it's just kind of one of those things that happen in sports, you know, stuff you can't control, especially this team. You know, we go out there and we play hard every pitch, and, you know, sometimes things like that are going to happen.
Moose, the second opinion, when does that happen?
You know, it's going on right now. I have an appointment with Dr. Andrews out in Florida coming up here in a couple of days, and you know, we're going to see how that goes, and, you know, we'll go from there.
What if he says, I don't really see a significant tear? Does that change anything? I mean, what's going to happen, Moose?
That'd be some great news if that happened. I just you know, just trying to hope for the best right now, and you know, see what happens. But you know, it's not feeling good. It's not even 50%. So it's it's going to be tough to come back this year for sure. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, I got my goal set for next spring training, and you know, getting ready to go for next year. In the meantime, I get to watch these boys, you know, do some awesome things on the baseball field.
All right, I remember June of 2011 when you made your big league debut in Anaheim, and now you're a veteran player, an all-star. You see any kind of twinkle in Brett Eibner's eyes tonight as he's making his big league debut?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, being a major league player and having your debut, it's a special day. You know, I hardly remembered mine. Everything happened so fast, and you know, for him, you know, it's just a special day. You know, you realize your dreams are coming true, stepping out on a big league field for the first time. But you know, he's a phenomenal baseball player, great athlete, and you know, we're going to expect some big things from him here in the future. And we all know he's prepared and ready to do it.
Moose, but to be the DH in your debut, that's like having 4 pinch hits.
Yeah.
I mean, going up there, I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. You know, for me, I was able to go out there and play third and kind of forget about my at-bats. But, you know, being the DH, you got to sit there, you know, for 8 more hitters till you get another at-bat. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that's more than capable of doing it. He's a phenomenal competitor, and, you know, he's going to help this team out a lot, definitely in this year and in the future to come.
Close, but out. And Gonzalez gets the Royals 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. Well, as much as you've been through in your career and as much as you've accomplished, you're going to be like another coach in that dugout with all the young guys this year.
Yeah, yes and no. You know, our guys know exactly what to do. You know, we got a great group of young guys, and they're ready to go out there and perform. And you know, my job right now is just to stay out of the way.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for spending some time with us.
No problem,
Thanks,
guys.
Liz.
Take care.
has set down the first 9 White Sox hitters. He has struck out 4, and that's the same amount of pitches that he has thrown out of the strike zone in the first 3 innings.
Incredible. I've never seen a Danny Duffy start like this.
1-1 on Austin Jackson. Duffy struck him out with a changeup in the first inning. 3-pitch strikeout, fastball, change. He is throwing all of his pitches for strikes. Just a couple of breaking balls, mostly fastball, change. There's the change, and the count is 1-2.
So what's going to happen typically? Get a guy like Duffy pounding the strike zone with that above average fastball. They're going to go up there looking early count to hit, swing. And really that's good for Duffy because it's going to keep his pitch count down, and he's going to be able to go deeper in the game.
That is a foul ball right to the Royals ball boy. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes on Austin Jackson. Right around an 80 pitch limit, which is interesting because he could probably keep a reliever's mentality with 40 pitches, probably keep a reliever's mentality for 60 pitches. But how much gas will he have in the tank once he gets to 80 pitches?
That'll be interesting to see. But right now he's filling up the zone with strikes. That's good. He's got excellent stuff. The changeup is, I don't remember seeing this kind of command ever. He's able to throw it for strike 1.
'96. Austin Jackson in his first year with the White Sox, and in the move to Chicago that shifted Adam Eaton to right, and we talked a lot about how good Eaton has been in right field for the White Sox. He is not in the lineup with Duffy out there, and as we told you in the first inning, Robin Ventura didn't put any left-hand hitters in the lineup against Duffy tonight.
He's got the luxury of having some switch hitters in there, and believe me, Ned would do the same thing, but he's got Haas, who's going to play. And used to be Alex, but Alex has taken a chill pill.
Right field and playable for Paulo Orlando. So Duffy has set down the first 10. Rear Admiral Stanton Thompson served in the United States Navy for 35 years and now serves on the advisory board at the National World War I Museum and Memorial. A spokesperson and advocate for the museum. A highly decorated veteran serves as a spokesman and advocate for the museum, doing presentations in his custom designed World War I Navy uniform throughout the Metro, and sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. Stanton Thompson. That's a swing by Melky Cabrera, and it's 0-1.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson, for your service. Man, congratulations on sitting in that Buck O'Neil seat. It's an honor.
Had him out in front. Cuthbert in time to get Melky Cabrera.
You know, you can do a lot when you have Duffy's stuff and you have his ability. But it opens up even more avenues for you when you're throwing strikes and first pitch strikes. You're getting the hitters sitting on fastball. They all like that pitch, so they're going to swing early in the count. And then second time through, you start throwing some slurves, some curveballs, a little bit, some changeups. And if you're throwing those for strikes, you really get the hitters thinking. So you can do a lot by getting strike 1 across that plate with that 95.
Just outside to Todd Frazier, who flied to right his first time up. He struck out 4 of the first 6 hitters that he faced. He has faced 11 and he has retired 11. And that's a little bit outside. 2-0 on Frazier. He has faced 12 hitters, Danny Duffy has, and he's been ahead of 10 of those 12 hitters.
That's the key. And those 2 pitches there that were called balls were barely balls. There it is.
Good tempo.
Very good tempo. Confident.
Two and two.
Frazier, he's looking around. I can tell you what he's thinking. He's saying, if this guy keeps putting that fastball there, we're in trouble. Making sure it was a strike. Angel said, yep, right there.
Wants to stay with his fastball. Salvi sets up inside on Frazier, and he popped him up.
Staying in the ballpark. Nice pitch.
That is 4 perfect innings for Danny Duffy.
Wow.
Eric Hosmer digs in, and I wonder if he remembers 5 years ago tonight. Northtown Mazda game break. Eric Hosmer at Texas, his first career 4-hit game. And this was a home run in the 14th inning at the Rangers. The Royals hit 3 home runs in that 14th inning. Here's a base hit into center field. Hosmer drove in the Royals run in the first inning. And now he leads off the 4th with a base hit. Eric Hosmer, Brian Pena, and Melky Cabrera, of all people, hit the 3 home runs in the 14th inning 5 years ago tonight in Texas.
Oh, I'll guarantee you he remembers that.
Melky had arguably the best season of his career with the Royals in 2011. Melky Cabrera, Alex Gordon, and Jeff Francoeur were the 3 outfielders for the Royals that year, and all had 40 or more doubles. First time in Major League history that one outfield had 3 guys with 40 or more doubles. Salvi grounded to short in the first inning. I was watching your TV feed in the radio booth during the Minnesota series, and you showed how well Salvador Perez played against Minnesota at Target Field before that series even started, and then he proceeded to go 9 for 12.
Yeah, I mean, We weren't expecting that.
Salvi might have been the only guy, well, not the only guy, but maybe the most disappointed guy with the rain out last night.
Yeah, there was a few guys that wanted to play, but you know what that did was rested the bullpen, and with Danny Duffy on the pitch count tonight, you know, they'll be used, but all it takes is that one good swing like Haas got up the middle there. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes for it to click.
Fouled it off of his ankle.
What was good to see during the road trip there, especially in Minnesota, where you see how he loads with his front half, hits right off the shin guard. That's good. Is the fact that he wasn't just dead pull. He wasn't pulling everything. He shot a couple balls to right field. You know, he got his triple, his second triple of the year, and hitting those balls out there on off-speed pitches with authority. So his balance was perfect.
Home run to straightaway center field.
Yep.
Shallow left field, and Melky Cabrera will bring it down. One away. One on, one out for Paulo Orlando, as we remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Paulo flied to the warning track in right field in the second inning.
This guy has my vote. Just a few days left in May. He continues to get a few hits a game like that. It'll be hard to deny.
And not just a lot of hits, but meaningful hits. He hits 500 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, 10 for 20. Unbelievable. Get him on out there.
Over the mound, and Laurie right at second. He had to shift his feet quickly to turn that double play 4-3 to end the bottom of the 4th. So good pitching. Gonzalez has held the Royals to 1 run. The White Sox don't have a runner yet against Danny Duffy. No runs, no hits, no anything for the White Sox in the first 4 innings against Danny Duffy. He'll get the middle of the order. Jose Abreu, Jerry Sands, and Brett Laurie. And just 46 pitches in 4 innings.
Encouraging.
Danny struck out Abreu looking in the second inning. Fastball down for ball 1. Abreu was struggling before the Royals got to Chicago. He did not do well in the Royals White Sox series. He did finish the White Sox Indians series strong. And like a lot of hitters, his biggest issue during his slump was swinging at pitches that weren't strikes.
And the ones he got, he was trying to feather them to right field. He was just staying inside the ball. He wasn't really trying to pull them. And he you know, his power and his majority of hits go to that right side, but you have to have the ability to pull it too.
2-1. Only 2 players in Major League history have started their careers with 30 home runs and 100 RBIs in the first 2 seasons. Jose Abreu and Albert Pujols. And they look a lot alike at the plate. A lot of the same mannerisms. That's the pitch that struck out Abreu in the 2nd inning. And now it's 2-2.
That's incredible. You're one of only 2 in the history. That's impressive. Look at those numbers. Now last year, him and the rest of his White Sox offense didn't do anything.
Yeah, if you're a Royals fan right now, you are excited, over the moon with the pitching of Danny Duffy. If you're a White Sox fan, you are lamenting the lack of offense, which has been a problem for the White Sox lately. Slicing toward the right field corner. Paulo Orlando has room inside the line. And Danny Duffy has retired the first 13.
Let's give you a little sample of Mr. Duffy so far early in this one. Look at the command. The command of the fastball. Key. Change up working as well. Look at that high fastball. He's keeping it out of the middle of the plate. That's the key. Because hitters, now there was one down the middle, but Frazier wasn't sure what was coming and got him thinking, and hopefully he continues to think. But good life, good extension, good tempo, everything.
Salvador Perez with that low target, and Duffy hits it with a changeup. He struck out Sands swinging at a changeup in the 2nd inning.
That's 11 of 14 first pitch strikes.
Salvi again with that low target. 96. No balls, 2 strikes. Now they're going to try and tie him up inside. It was out over the plate, but he threw it right by Sands. And Duffy strikes out his 5th. Coming up on Sunday, the final game of this series, the first 20,000 fans through the gate will receive a World Series Championship reusable bag courtesy of MLB Network. Get your tickets now at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. We saw that giveaway when the Royals were in Minnesota. Brett Lawrie takes a breaking ball high. Duffy blew him away with a fastball in the 2nd inning. Popped up. Up and 15 down against Danny Duffy in the first 5 innings. Brett Eibner will bat second as the Royals come up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Time for our Sprint trivia question for tonight. Who was the last Royal to make his major league debut as the designated hitter? Well, I know this. It did not happen from 1969 to 1972.
Way to go. That's a gimme.
Chesler Cuthbert singled his first time up, and now he bounces it right to Laurie at second base. So Chesler is 1 for 2. Brett Eibner, first time up, struck out looking against Miguel Gonzalez. Gonzalez got him looking at a fastball. Mom and dad back into the nervous posture. Who's more nervous for the big league debut, the player or the parents?
And the parents are. Now he got a couple of swings in there, so he's better. First pitch. There you go. He gave him a first pitch last time up, and he took it. That's a good swing there. But the parents, no question, are the most nervous.
Inside. I mentioned the 2010 draft. That year, the Royals selected Christian Colon, Brett Eibner, Scott Alexander, Whit Merrifield. They also selected Michael Marriott and Kevin Chapman, whom they traded to the Astros, and he ended up playing in the big leagues. Slider for a strike, 1 and 2. So that was an impactful year for the Royals in the draft. 3 of those guys are with the Royals right now, and Christian Colon, who started the season with the Royals, we'll see him again at some point this season. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Another thing Eibner can tell himself, you know, that as a designated hitter, you think, well, I'm supposed to bring all this power in here. No, forget that. Forget the home run. You don't need that. Just get it. You know, lay a base hit out there or 2. That's all you need to do. I don't feel like he has to go deep.
Changeup is pulled foul.
Art Stewart had a little dinner with Art tonight, and he was talking about he's the first player that they ever signed that had a broken wrist.
There's Art. Yeah, broke his wrist in his final season in college and played with it for the rest of the year. And then when the Royals signed him, they allowed it to heal. Changeup. So Eibner strikes out for a second time. And for Gonzalez, that's 3 tonight. Also coming up on Sunday, our next Family Fun Day Sunday, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Before the game, the kids will enjoy face painters and kids entertainment in the outfield experience, and pregame player autographs, signature Sundays on top of the Royals dugout. And after the final out, kids 14 and under can run the bases like a big leaguer in the Skippy Fun Run.
Will you wear your new T-shirt?
No, I won't. I can't. I'd love to. I'm proud of it.
Okay.
Dyson into right field. That'll drop in front of Garcia. Dyson is on with 2 outs.
It was a nice gesture from Sam Abramson.
Yeah.
Picking you up that.
Well,
he knows how much you love the Skippy Fun Run.
And he got tired of me asking, where's my Skippy Fun Run T-shirt? So
you got it.
That was his way to put a cork in it. Alcides Escobar on the first pitch to him, single to left. Now, it wasn't a fastball, it was a slider. And then 3 batters later, Eric Hosmer with a ground out got Escobar home, and that's the only run. Good running situation here. Dyson's not running, and Escobar was right on a fastball and fouled it back.
Esky, first time up, the 3rd time, first time every time swinging at the first pitch. Usually he'll take one of those first pitches, but he's got a good swing tonight. Miguel Gonzalez has quick feet from the set. He used a slide step. He didn't that last time, though. Whenever he kicks that leg up, that gives Dyson a little more time.
Esky in his second at bat line to left field. Gonzalez has just 56 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. Slider makes it 1-2.
Orioles seen a lot of sliders right out there just on the edge of that outside plate, especially the righties.
Two and two.
Surprised we haven't seen Gerard make an attempt yet early. If he does get thrown out, Escobar leads off the inning. He's got 8 steals, been caught twice.
Doesn't have as big a lead as he normally does. He flinched there as Escobar fouls it away. Eight out of 10 in stolen base attempts. Rusty Kuntz always watching the pitcher to try and pick up some sort of key, some sort of tip off, whether the pitcher is going to go to the plate or throw to first. Maybe passed on a little bit of information there to Dyson.
Maybe that was what he was waiting for, a little move over there.
Not running, and Escobar fouls it away. A reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Having Rusty over there is like having a manager right there. Controls the running game. And you look at the third base box, Mike Jershely, he was a manager for a long time.
Dyson runs, and Escobar strikes out to end the inning. So good pitching on both sides. Duffy's been a little better than Gonzalez, but at the end of 5, it's a 1-0 game. Danny Duffy takes the mound in the top of the 6th inning. The Royals scored their run right away.
Sure did. Escobar not messing around, hitting that hole over there. And Merrifield going after it too. LORENZO CAIN advanced Escobar to third base. Haas, a little chopper for a ribby. That was Hosmer's 24th RBI.
Rollins, Garcia, and Navarro in the top of the 6th inning. A strike to Rollins. He popped out to Merrifield at second base in the 3rd inning. On the ground to Cuthbert. Tough hop. Recovers. Throws. Got him.
Perfectly done. What you want to do on an in-between hop like that, just do what he did. Just keep your body in front of it. Make sure it stays in front. And then he can rely on that cannon he's got for an arm. Man, he can throw that ball. Look at that. Perfect job. Not sure where it's going to go. Try to just use your chest. Good, quick feet. Man, he's impressive on defense. To his left, to his right, coming in, going into the stands. He's made the highlight reel on all of those.
Avisail Garcia. He grounded out to Cuthbert his first time up, and Duffy jumps ahead with a fastball at 96. So right around 80 pitches is Duffy's limit tonight. He is at 60 in 5 1/3 innings. Line to right field, and one hop to Paulo Orlando. So the White Sox have their first base runner, and now Duffy gets a nice ovation for his first 5 1/3 innings.
Yep, I agree with the fans.
Now, interesting, Hud, we bring this up anytime a pitcher begins with several perfect innings. How will he pitch now moving to the stretch? Well, that's how Duffy's been pitching all night. So there is no disruption here as far as going from the windup to the stretch. The only change is that now he has to manage the base runner.
He does well with that. He's got a nice step off move that he'll show at times. He just steps off and fires it real short and quick, catching that base sealer before he gets too far off the bag.
Pulled foul, no balls and 2 strikes on Navarro. Navarro flied to center first time up. And now Luke Hochevar begins to play catch in the Royals bullpen. If the White Sox do not turn this base hit by Garcia into a run, I wonder if his hit is a blessing in disguise, because then you don't get caught up in pitch count and no hitter, perfect game. Do you let him go a little bit longer? Not that the Royals would extend him to 90 or 100 pitches just for a chance at a no hitter, a perfect game, but it takes that element out of the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Duffy's just going to keep doing what he's doing right now. And Dave Highland, man, he's got to be pumped.
Little bloop right field. Merrifield not able to get it. Garcia rounded second and was thinking about third and made the right decision to hold. So with 1 out, a line drive to right and a bloop to right.
Pitch was in on him, and he'll dumped it out there. Little jam shot. Merrifield got to it quickly. He's got a good arm too. That Garcia tried to go to third base. Wouldn't have been a good decision on his part, so he stays put.
So Austin Jackson with 2 on, 1 out. Duffy struck him out to open the game on 3 pitches. And then Jackson flied out to right in the 4th inning. Fouled away. Jackson so far has not been able to get around on Duffy's fastball.
Nope, and he's been trying though. He's hacking. He's first ball swinging every time up.
White Sox tonight with their first runner in scoring position, which is big in a 1-0 game. Base hit right field. And Garcia almost ran through a stop sign. Joe McEwing was waving home Garcia, so Garcia put his head down. And when he put his head down, he didn't notice that Joe McEwing put the stop sign up.
Oh, and Paulo Orlando unloaded a great throw, too. Good decision by Joe McEwing to stop him, but also for Garcia, as big as he is, and your weight and your momentum's heading home, it's tough to stop. Sure enough, you're going to slip and go down. Salvi didn't see him, or he would have fired at third and got him out. And then Garcia just does a face plant when he goes back into third base.
There was nothing pretty about that.
Nothing.
He's lucky he didn't twist an ankle or twist a knee when he stopped on the grass.
Very fortunate. Chesler, he wanted it. He wanted that ball, but Salvi didn't look up in time. Now, see, interesting how this happens. Base hit first time, breaks up the no-hitter, and then the doinker, and now the hit. I mean, that's the way baseball goes. But Duffy going to have to figure a way here to keep the ball down. Maybe get Cabrera to ground into a double play. If he does, it would be his 4th. Duffy's more of a fly ball pitcher. Wow.
Driven deep to left field.
How about that?
And with one swing, the Chicago White Sox take a 4-1 lead. We just showed you what the White Sox did against the Royals last weekend. They were 1 for 23 with runners in scoring position. That one hit came from Melky Cabrera, and it was the game-winning hit on Sunday, helping the White Sox avoid a sweep. And Danny Duffy, who is perfect for 5 1/3 innings, gives up 3 singles and a home run.
It's a hanging slider. Stayed up. Second slam of the year. Frazier had the first.
And now Frazier trying to bunt with Cuthbert deep at third base. Frazier has flied to right and popped out to first. This will be pitch number 70 for Duffy. 1 ball and 1 strike.
The game of baseball is hard to figure out. So don't even try to figure. It's just things are contagious in the game. Good and bad.
And for the first month and a half of the Royals season, the question kept coming up, what game was going to break the Royals out offensively? And that's a question that White Sox fans have been asking about their team. And I'm sure they're wondering how much or what effect that Melky Cabrera grand slam is going to have on their offense. The White Sox just finished an 8-game homestand, averaging 2.5 runs per game. And we showed you before the first pitch how much they have struggled recently. The White Sox have lost 5 consecutive series, and a lot of that has to do with a lack of offense. And now tonight, Danny Duffy retires the first 16 White Sox hitters, and there wasn't one single hard hit ball. And then single grand slam. Lined foul and off the ball boy's glove. Todd Frazier tied for the league lead with 14 home runs this year. And that's changed. Now he leads the league with 15 home runs. That's as many home runs as the White Sox got from all of their third basemen in the entire 2015 season. And I think, Hud, both of the home runs in this inning have been against breaking balls.
Yep. First time.
Maybe a fastball.
Yeah, first time all year, though. They've gone back-to-back home runs, and wouldn't you know it? Just amazing. That's a good pitch there. I mean, that ball's down off the ground, and he was able to rake it. Just all of a sudden, the hits are coming.
So we didn't see this coming. A Chevy call to the bullpen with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. It's brought to you by your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. Todd Frazier takes over the league lead with his 15th home run, back-to-back with Melky Cabrera, who hit a grand slam. And now Luke Hochevar to face Jose Abreu in throwing strike 1.
That's the first big hit that Frazier's gotten against the Royals in the last 2 years. Last year in Cincinnati, didn't do much. He threw out a single, maybe 2. In the 3-game series there in White Sox, he didn't do anything, and now it's the first really big hit he's had against the Royals.
Abreu struck out and flied to right against Duffy. Curveball stays inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Danny Duffy threw 5 perfect innings. He retired the first batter in the 6th, And who would have thought that would be the only out that he would get in the 6th inning? There was maybe one hard hit ball against the first 16 hitters. And now Paulo Orlando deep in right field and makes the play on the track. Abreu is 0 for 3. And now Hochevar is going to get Jerry Sands, who had a bad time against Danny Duffy.
You can go hot to cold like that in just a matter of a few pitches.
Strike over the inside to Sands. Good cutter away, and it's 0-2.
Yep, 4-seam fastball, overhand curve, and that cutter. Very effective. He's got a little bit more movement on his cutter than Miguel Garcia, or Gonzalez, excuse me, the White Sox pitcher who has a cutter.
Popped up. Merrifield wants it. Hochevar comes out of the Royals bullpen and gets Abreu and Sands. So the Royals are down by 4 as they come up in the bottom of the 6th. Danny Duffy was perfect and dominant through 5 1/3 innings. Then the next 5 reached and scored in a 5-run 6th inning for the White Sox. So Miguel Gonzalez has a 4-run lead as he gets Merrifield, CAIN, and Hosmer in the bottom of the 6th inning. Merrifield leading off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Cleet Corson from KCMO. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Cleet wins $500. If the Royals match the White Sox and hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 6th, Cleet wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Garcia was shallow, so he had to go over and back to handle that line drive from Merrifield. So Witt is 1 for 3, and there's one down in the bottom of the 6th. And let's go to Joel.
Ryan, thanks. Chance to catch up with Dan Eibner, and his wife Carol's walking their grandson around somewhere around the carousel or who knows what. But Dan, a long time coming. What's it like to be here with the family watching Brett?
Well, it's just awesome. The organization's been fantastic. He's worked really hard to get here. And of course, it's like every kid's dream who, you know, picks up the bat and the glove when they're 5, 6 years old and they're pretending to be the major league player, and that's the opportunity he's got. So we just got to thank the Kansas City Royals organization for drafting him and being a family to him. So it's been really great.
I know it's special for your family, and one of your sons and daughter-in-law's here. The other son is on his way from the airport right now, and your wife and grandkid too. I remember back when you guys were here in 2010 too. What were your thoughts back then? Your young son getting out of Arkansas and signing that contract?
Well, it was pretty funny. We met George Brett for the first time, and we were upstairs actually before the game, and he walks in. He goes, "Oh, so you're the new power hitter? You're not that big." And I know Brett was very kind and didn't have a comeback, but it was just that kind of camaraderie that started like from day one, where a guy like George Brett comes in and starts ribbing him a little bit just to break the ice and make it fun. So, and then just the welcoming we had, it's fantastic. I can't say anything more about the organization and how fantastic it's been.
Well, he was a kid that could have been drafted as a pitcher or a hitter, and was drafted, I think, out of high school too. What do you remember of Brett as a little kid? What kind of athlete?
Oh, well, he was a late bloomer. You know, he was about this big around and just a skinny kid. And
oh, there we got Eric Hosmer going to the wall, and that is gone. So a little bit of action here, and maybe we can get Brett Eibner in on the action in a little bit. But guys, he came up in the minor leagues with Eric Hosmer, and so some guys that know each other very well.
And it's a sonic slam inning. So Cleet Corson, Kansas City, Missouri, has just won $500. And just as important, the Royals answer with a run after the White Sox got 5 in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, and what a swing. That ball was down, is not over the plate, but down. Haas is able to wait, let the ball get towards the catcher's glove, and then just unloaded on a nice little natural uppercut swing. He got a good portion of that ball and tagged it for his 9th. Watch him set up his foot. He just picks it up, sets it back down, keeps great weight, good balance in here. Good balance by Hosmer. It's important that he's able to wait until that ball gets deep to go to left field. But I can tell you, though, that base hit that Eric Hosmer got in the 4th inning to lead off that inning is a base hit up the middle. Mike got him right. I sure hope it does. Salvia again looking for something out over the plate. He gets it. He's out. He tops it. Hooked it right in that hole. Good contact.
Extends his hitting streak to 12 games and brings Paulo Orlando to the plate. This started with 2 outs and nobody on. Hosmer homers, Perez singles. Now Paulo taking a shot at right field, fouls it back to the screen. Paulo flied to the warning track in right field in the 2nd inning, going to the opposite field against Gonzalez. Fastball at 92, and you hear the term for Gonzalez with his fastball that he is sneaky fast. Don't pay much attention to the number on the radar gun.
You know, we really haven't seen a lot of his split finger tonight. He's been using mainly fastball, slider, a few change-ups.
Still 0-2. And now it's Matt Albers warming up in the White Sox bullpen. 5-2. That's a high scoring game for the Royals and the White Sox this year. The Royals took 2 out of 3 from Chicago last weekend, outscoring the White Sox 8-5, not in one game, in the 3-game series. In the dirt. And PAULO runs to the grass, so he is automatically out. So Gonzalez finishes off the Royals with a strikeout after giving up a home run to Eric Hosmer.
Yeah, Haas taking a deep cut, uppercut, catches it just right.
By the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers, visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Good night to be outside. Busy night on the plaza. 73 degrees at first pitch. Eric Hosmer homers against Miguel Gonzalez with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th to make it a 3-run game. Peter Moylan takes over in the 7th inning. Luke Hochevar got the last 2 outs of the 6th, and now Moylan. Guess who he's pitching to first with all the boos in the background? It's Brett Lawrie, followed by Jimmy Rollins and Abisail Garcia.
Moylan's going to use a sinker ball, slider combination. He's got a changeup.
Grounded foul outside of third base. Moylan allowed a run in the 7th inning on Wednesday in his last appearance. In that same series, he got his first win as a Royal. Jammed him. Cuthbert in time for the first out. Remember, the next time you want to grab Royal seats, get the StubHub app. Not only will you find seats you'll love wherever you want, you can find the best seat for your buck when you sort by best value. They'll take the price and location of seats and show you which tickets at StubHub give you the best deal. So get the StubHub app today. Jimmy Rollins takes outside. Rollins is 0 for 2. He grounded to third, leading off last inning. And for Danny Duffy, that was the 16th consecutive hitter that he retired tonight. 16 up and 16 down. And then out of the clear blue sky, the White Sox had 5 straight reach and all 5 scored.
Amazing how fast that can happen. Weren't exactly meaty pitches either, except for the grand slam to Melky. That was a slider that was up, and he just pulled it. It was a good pitch to hit.
Jimmy Rollins has had a long, successful career, primarily with the Philadelphia Phillies, where he is the all-time hits leader, passing Mike Schmidt. He has been an MVP, and he has won 4 Gold Gloves. Still 2-2.
It's been a great career for him. Man, this guy, his ability, what he's done. Look at all those games played at shortstop. 2,225th game tonight.
How about that? Only 5 players in history have played more games at shortstop than Rollins. And what becomes impressive about that statistic is that as you continue to play that position at his age, very demanding position. Into right center field, Lorenzo Cain cuts it off. So Rollins, after all those foul balls outside of first base, singles into right center. He is 1 for 3. Avisail Garcia seemed like a harmless single to right with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. It was the beginning of a 5-run rally. Garcia, Navarro, and Jackson all scored on Melky Cabrera's grand slam, and then Todd Frazier followed with a home run. .90 miles an hour, in for a strike.
That's his pitch right there. A good sinker. Down below the knees.
Jimmy Rollins has stolen 4 bases. He has been thrown out twice. Oh, 2. The White Sox had Matt Albers warming up as the Royals were batting in the bottom of the 6th, so they may not be very far from going to their bullpen. And pretty soon it'll be bullpen against bullpen. And here's how they match up. The Royals have the best ERA. The White Sox have allowed the fewest home runs. They're even when it comes to whip. Small margin there. And even when it comes to saves. That was Brian Flynn warming up in the Royals pen. Still 0-2 on Garcia. Rollins looked like he was flinching. Looked like he may have been thinking about taking off.
Yeah, and you talk about all them career games. It's shortstop and longevity and most hits in the Phillies history. He has 469 steals. Ooh, that looked close. They're going to challenge. But with those 469 career steals, he's had an 82% of being right.
4 seasons with 40 or more stolen bases in a year.
They got him on that one. It looked like, well, we all know what looks like means. Throw was just perfect. Right to Haas. Left-handed fielding first baseman. Gloves already on that second base side of the bag, and
there was that little flinch.
Yeah, he put it right on his.
There's contact.
Ribs.
Ted Barrett on the right is the crew chief. The umpire who made the call at first is Will Little. He's on the left. Rollins and Eric Hosmer talk it over. Darrell Boston, former Major League outfielder, is just going to stand there and listen to the conversation.
You can see the throw right would have hit him in the ribs had Hodge not caught it.
Now the 2 angles we've shown you, it's tough to know if the tag came before his hand hit the bag. But in New York, they can put the 2 side by side, and with a time code can sync them up, and so they can use more than 1 replay at a time. So 1 replay shows the ball in the glove and making contact. The other replay, just by using a time code, will show whether his hand was on the bag or not. So while we will focus in on 1 replay at a time, looking for clear and convincing evidence, Bill Duplessis, Royals replay coordinator, will sync up more than 1, and they'll do the same in New York.
This one's taking a lot longer than I expected.
You know, usually when it takes longer, think, man, this call may stand. I get the feeling that the longer they're looking at it, the more angles that they want to see. And I think the Royals' chances are enhanced the longer it goes. Nope. So the call stands. It is not confirmed. So in New York, there was nothing definitive one way or the other to show whether the call was right or wrong, so it just defers to the call on the field. It is the 7th inning or later, so the Royals lose their challenge, but at this point of the game can still ask the umpires to take a look at a play this late in the game. The hardest part about being a replay coordinator for any team is that they have to make a decision with what they have in 30 seconds. Major League Baseball has all the time that they need in New York. Moylan strikes out Avisail Garcia, and there are 2 down in the 7th inning.
Yeah, you're on the gun, that's for sure. It's not an easy job, but Bill Duplessis is one of the best in the American League. The record now 5-4 in challenges.
Deanna Navarro with Rollins at first, 2 down. Navarro singled and scored in the White Sox 5-run 6th inning. And he's also flied out to center field. You know, talking to Bill Duplessis about his job, you know, he's learned a lot about television. He's learned a lot about camera angles, camera positions, because, you know, if you're new to this job, yeah, you have 7 or 8 different options as far as cameras, maybe even more than that. But with a 30-second limit as to what you're going to go with, you have to be able to recognize what cameras are shooting what, from what angle, and find those right away.
Quick, like, you know, and I can't disagree with Billy there. I mean, looked like to me he was out. But looked like doesn't mean anything anymore.
Paulo Orlando in right field takes care of Navarro, and that's the inning. Moylan has a scoreless top of the 7th inning. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals are down by 3. Back out to the mound, leading 5-2 to the bottom of the 7th inning. T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball. Julio Urias. Thank you, Dave Holtzman. Major League debut tonight at the Mets at the age of 19. Youngest lefties to debut for the Dodgers in the last 75 years. Sandy Koufax, 19. Fernando Valenzuela, 19. Clayton Kershaw was 20. As Cuthbert fouls the first pitch back from Miguel Gonzalez. Starting at Citi Field in New York, he allowed 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st inning. And that game is headed to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 5. Cuthbert is 1 for 3 after the comebacker to Miguel Gonzalez. So another Northtown Mazda game break. Juan Lagares driving in a couple of runs in that 3-run bottom of the 1st inning against Urias. Did I get it right that time?
How about it? Mets with a throwback unis.
19 years old.
Yeah. Wow. They said he was ready 2 years ago.
And another connection to Fernando Valenzuela. He is Mexican heritage, like Fernando Valenzuela was. Brett Eibner 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts so far against Gonzalez. And with Los Angeles being so close to the Mexican border, a high population of Mexican Americans in Southern California. He'll have quite a cheering section or sections. Line to left field, base hit. Brett Eibner has his first major league hit, and it's a double.
That's always a great moment. Way to go. He got it. Congratulations, Eibner family. That's special. And he earned it. It was a leg double. Ball didn't hit the wall, showing off his speed. Congratulations. Now he can exhale. That ball stayed inside on him. Looked like a little cutter, and he knows it's off to the races. Actually, a little two-seam fastball had a little movement in on him. Didn't quite barrel it. Got him on his hands a little bit, but he's strong enough. He muscled it out there. Put his head down right away because he knew Melky wasn't going to catch it. He says, I'm going to hit a double my first time up. Way to go, Mom and Dad.
It'll be Dan Jennings taking over for the White Sox. So Eibner gets his first hit and knocks Gonzalez out of the game. Brett Eibner with his first big league hit with the Royals down by 3. So they need base runners as they get into the White Sox bullpen. And it's Dan Jennings to face Gerard Dyson. Dyson takes down and away, ball 1.
Fastball slider, 89 to 94. Got nice ERA, 2.11.
He has not allowed a home run in 21 1/3 innings this year, and in his last 49 innings going back to last year. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
I think the Royals will just take a little frenzy hitting here with 1 out, see if they can get something happening now. They don't have to take him out of the yard. That's not the Royal streak. Well, that's a pretty nice active streak, though. I'll tell you, when you can do that in the big leagues and keep these powerful hitters from hitting them over the fence, you've done something. A lot of innings there.
Two balls and 1 strike on Dyson. Gerard grounded to second in the 2nd inning and singled to right in the 5th. Three balls and 1 strike.
I noticed something about Jennings in Chicago when he was pitching. Right before he gets ready to go home, it's a borderline balk. He's leaning towards first base, and he's not really stopping and going home. If you'll watch him, he looks a little indecisive at times about delivering when he breaks his hands.
Oh yeah, little lean. Dyson's going to make him throw 2 strikes, and now 3-2. Escobar's on deck, then Merrifield, then CAIN. 3 straight right-hand batters. And the White Sox have a right-hander in the bullpen, so this might be the only hitter that Jennings faces.
Well, you know, he throws at 3-1, 3-2. He's coming back with it. Fastball.
Fought it off.
That was on his hands.
Jennings grew up in West Des Moines, where he went to Valley High School, and from there to the University of Nebraska. Now Dyson wants to step out for a moment. By the way, who has the longest consecutive innings without allowing a home run? Blake Wood, the former Royal, who's now pitching for the Reds. Dyson takes a walk, and that brings the tying run to the plate. And that will be the only batter that Dan Jennings faces. Our 2 oldest boys here tonight, Hud. There's Micah, who is standing up, going sleeveless tonight, our 6-year-old, and then Evan. Our friends Meredith and Connor bringing the boys out for some fireworks tonight. Evan's 4.5, having a good time.
Yeah, they're beautiful, right?
Micah's showing off his pipes tonight.
Yeah, he is. Just like his daddy. Way to go. Glad they're here.
All right, Matt Albers on for the 22nd time. He inherits Eibner at second base, Dyson at first. 1 down, 7th inning. And we'll pitch to Alcides Escobar. Slider for strike 1.
Sinker, slider, changeup. Trying to keep that sinker right down there. Escobar staying hot, swinging at everybody.
And he has by far the most experience of any Royal against Albers, so he knows what Albers throws. Another slider. That one is outside. That's 7 more at bats for Escobar than any other Royal against Albers.
And you know, one thing that Albers uses so well is his windup. He uses that for deception. If you watch him wind up, a lot of arms and legs flaring, and then here it comes, sinker slider. He's got some deception.
Ooh, man. Love to have that pitch again.
Sure would.
Royals have had very few opportunities to hit tonight with a runner in scoring position. Escobar saw that slider coming and he lays off of it. You remember early in the season, sorry, how the Royals really struggled in that category, but as we showed you a few innings ago, in their last 21 games, they are best in the American League.
They've really picked it up. Now, Escobar gets a base hit to right. Oh, not going to happen here.
Broke his bat, and the White Sox won't get him out. And it was because of the broken bat.
I was going to say Avisail Garcia is in right field, man. He's way shallow, but look, Escobar, he didn't need to hit it out there. He's keeping the inning alive. A nice little broken bat with Dyson's speed. By the time Rollins picked it up, he looked at second. He didn't think, you know, there's no way I'm not going to throw the ball away at first base. So Albers is saying, hey, what's wrong with that out? Let's go. That's a pitch I wanted to make right there, and he did it. So now he's in more trouble. Let's see if Merrifield can come through here.
That gets the crowd back into it. Slider is down and away, ball one. Witt singled in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. One of his outs was a line out to right field. And now the crowd is really into it. Very few are seated at the moment. So Albers backs off. That'll turn the volume down some. Ground ball, base hit left field. One run is home. Dyson comes to the plate, and it's a one-run game. And Whit Merrifield drives in his first 2 big league runs.
How do you feel, big guy? Bases loaded. Royals putting a comeback here on the first place White Sox. Sinker out over the plate, finds the hole. The crowd has woken up here. Now they're back into the game quickly here. Good swing. Welcome to the show as far as driving in a couple stakes. He'll take it. Eidner scores his first big league run after his first big league hit was a double.
He got this thing started.
That's right. Yeah, Rusty said, how do you like that? And Merrifield said, wow, nice to hear the home crowd and the roar.
And now Robin Ventura knows who's coming up. Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo Cain has more home runs and RBIs against the White Sox than any other team. Over the outside for strike one. Tonight, he is 0 for 3, and he's 0 for 5 against Albers. One ball and 1 strike. One more thing about Whit Merrifield. With 2 hits tonight, that's 4 consecutive multi-hit games.
It's going to be hard to get him out of the lineup. One and 2.
Escobar's at second, Merrifield at first. Way outside. Throw to third. Got him. Now the Royals were probably going to ask the umpires to take a look at it. They lost their challenge in the top of the 7th inning, but it is the 7th inning or later.
Navarro, excellent job. Thought that ball might get back to the screen, so the runners are advancing, but he caught that on the right off the hop and put it right on the bag to Frazier. And it looked to me like before he tagged him, of course, you know what? Got to stop saying he looked like, because it doesn't really matter. But third base umpire Ryan Blakeney rung him up. So great throw.
Technically speaking now. Oh boy, that foot is on the bag. Technically speaking, Ned Yost cannot say we want a challenge. Ned has to go out and talk to the crew chief, Ted Barrett, and request a challenge. Can't tell from there, but again, we go back to the challenge that didn't go the Royals' way in the top of the 7th inning. You sync up a couple of replays. And with the time code, and you can use more than one replay at a time to determine whether he was tagged out or not. So it is an umpire review. You know, even if he made contact with Escobar before Escobar got to the bag, it was Frazier's arm, not his glove.
Yeah, and
at least that's the way it looks.
Frazier, see his left knee there? His left knee, if he blocks it, it drops the gate in front of the base there. Escobar doesn't get in. He had the right idea, Frazier did. He wanted to block him out, but he couldn't get that knee down. Escobar would have never even gotten to third base.
Here come the headsets off. Safe. Huge play as the call is overturned. No chance for a ground ball and a double play, and now the Royals can tie the game with a well-placed out.
Way to advance. Navarro, heck of a throw. Nothing wrong. He did wrong there. Now Austin Jackson, center field. He's got a couple outfield assists. Melky's got one. Garcia in right doesn't have one yet. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a good arm. Strong thrower.
A base hit, and the Royals take the lead. And by the way, Lorenzo Cain is tied with David Ortiz for the most game-winning RBIs in the American League. So this is a situation made for Lorenzo Cain. Full count.
Yep, just, you know, any kind of contact. Down the ground, up the middle. Fly ball, so he's got a lot of options to score that run here. Try to keep it away from the pitcher. Of course, it's hard to do that.
Did he go? Oh! The Royals can't believe it. So a big pitch for Matt Albers with runners at second and third and one out. Yep.
That's interpretation whether he attempted to swing.
So Zach Duke will come on to face Eric Hosmer with runners at second and third and two down. Second and third, 2 down. And Eric Hosmer will face the lefty Zach Duke.
Lefties and righties doing just about the same. Haas usually swings at first pitches on lefties that come in. Didn't that time. It's a good pitch to hit. Duke 88 to 92. Not overpowering, but he's got good command with his fastball and slider. Change up to righties if he gets that far.
Base hit left field. Eric Hosmer comes through, and the Royals lead in the 7th inning. And Eric Hosmer has driven in 4 tonight.
That base hit he got back in the 4th inning, up the middle, the home run to left field, got him locked in again. And now he knew a slider was coming, so he just tried to feather it. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Duke says, no way, but look at Haas. Great piece of hitting here. Down 0-2. That was just a very nice slice. That's another clutch hit for the first baseman. 2 more ribbies. Giving him 26. Merrifield, after knocking in his first few runs, loves the sound of that crowd here at the K's. Haas, nice hit.
Last weekend in Chicago, the White Sox bullpen did not allow 1 single run to the Royals, and now they've allowed 3 to take the lead. This is Nate Jones with Hosmer at first, 2 down, to face Salvador Perez.
That hit was clutch. That picked up Danny Duffy and Lorenzo Cain.
Salvi taking all the way in a strike. Our Kubota power stats for tonight. Salvador Perez has 19 extra base hits. That leads all major league catchers. And that includes 7 home runs, 2 triples, and 11 doubles.
2 outs. He knows what to do. Just try to keep that line moving. Jones, powerful fastball slider.
Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
That swing, Haas, he's had some beautiful swings this year with some great hits, but that one right there, he'll tell you, might have been his best one in a clutch situation like that. Tough pitch by Duke. Slider 2-3 inches off the plate.
Right on that fastball.
Take a look at it here again. Now he knows the slider's coming. Okay, so he's able to keep his head on the ball. His backside fell out. I think that registers as a booty knock. You don't see Haas with many of those, but it worked that time.
Salvi lays off the slider. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Royals led 1-0 until Robin Ventura's offense scored 5 in the 6th inning. So the White Sox had a 5-1 lead. The Royals got 1 in the bottom of the 6th, and they have scored 4 in the 7th. Jones strikes out Salvador Perez to put an end to the bottom of the 7th. All of this started with Brett Eibner's first big league hit, a double. And assisting in the inning, Whit Merrifield's first 2 major league RBIs, followed by Eric Hosmer's 2-run single.
Earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Brett Eibner waited a long time. 3rd at bat. Look at mom and dad, they're anxious. And watch mom. We don't have to root. Look at that swing. Nice, beautiful swing. Mom saying, get down, drop, drop, drop. Yeah. It started that inning. Got them all going. It was a rookie inning, that's for sure. And it with a nice booty knock by Haas. And congratulations, Brett Eibner. Long wait. It was worth it. Big inning. And to get it started.
Kelvin Herrera will get the top of the order in the top of the 8th inning. Herrera has had 8 consecutive scoreless appearances, which he extended in the 8th inning Monday at Minnesota. Austin Jackson, Melky Cabrera, and Todd Frazier.
Powerful fastball. He'll go mid 90s to upper 90s. Changeup's about 88 to 89. As good as some guy's fastball, and then he's got a very nice slider that he's confident with. Three-pitch mix now.
Base hit right field for Jackson, his 2nd hit to right field tonight. And that's the first time all night that the White Sox have had their leadoff man on. Let's answer our Sprint trivia question for tonight. With Brett Eibner making his big league debut as designated hitter, who was the last Royal before Eibner to make his big league debut as DH? It was 2001, I'm told. So let's think about that. 2001. Melky Cabrera shows bunt and takes a strike. Melky Cabrera hit a grand slam in the 6th inning against Danny Duffy. If you weren't with us earlier, Danny Duffy retired the first 16 White Sox hitters without one hard hit ball. It was a dominant 5 1/3 innings. That's line foul. Then a hard hit single, a bloop single, another hard hit single, and then.
Yeah, to me, that was the only pitch that really Danny left up that was hittable like that. The other guys, they hit some fastballs, a couple jam shots, but nothing to hang your head about. And Duffy didn't. He waited in the dugout, kept his head up, waited for everybody to come off the field, shook hands with him.
Little better swing when he hit the grand slam back in the 6th inning. Herrera strikes out his first. I think I'm going to go with Brandon Berger.
Brandon Berger? Man, I've never even heard of that player.
Yeah.
Well, that was before Billy's time. I was going to.
What position, Holtzy? What position was he other than a DH? First baseman. First baseman in 01. Kit Pello. No. From Olathe.
Well.
Upstairs to Frazier. First baseman.
I'm counting on you, Rhino. I have no clue.
Mike Sweeney was the regular first baseman at that time. There's my clue.
Rob Deere. He didn't play here.
Oh. Heads up. 2 balls and no strikes on Frazier. Oh. Interesting clue. But I get it. Ken Harvey.
You got it.
And the clue is, some Royals fans might remember Ken Harvey going for a pop-up and getting trapped behind the tarp. It's now 3-0 on Frazier, who's 1 for 3 with a home run. And then Tony Pena came running out of the Royals dugout. He put his back against the wall and his feet on the inside part of the tarp and tried on his own to move the tarp so Ken Harvey could get out of there. And now a 4-pitch walk, and the White Sox have the tying run in scoring position with 1 out in the 8th inning.
Herrera having a little bit of command issues. Wouldn't say he's trying to overthrow, because the guy, he throws 98 and at the knees, might be just pulling off with his shoulder or something.
Jose Abreu 0 for 3 tonight and 1 for 6 against Herrera. Kelvin has struck him out only once.
That means might put him in play, roll up a double play on him.
Hochevar went 2/3 scoreless in relief of Duffy. Peter Moylan, who is the pitcher of record, turned in a scoreless 7th. Good slider down and out of the strike zone. 0-2.
I'm thinking Herrera's more confident with that slider than his great fastball and changeup now. That's how he's going. He goes to that when he gets in trouble now, which is really bad news for hitters.
And when you're a reliever, you have to identify very quickly which pitches are working. There's no easing into it. Fastball, and he was very late on it, thinking about staying back on the slider, and that was 98 miles an hour.
He's grounded into 8 double plays. That leads the White Sox. Herrera would love to make it 9.
One and 2. Didn't hit his spot, but still almost got it in the strike zone. Adam Eaton will bat for Jerry Sands. Got him, and he took something off of it. And he calls it a slider. That looked like a curveball.
Sure did, but you know what? Herrera now he's inventing and creating by taking a little bit of speed off of that. Made that ball have more depth to it, and it looked more like a curveball. You're right.
Yeah, there's more overspin than side spin.
By taking something off, by not trying to overthrow that pitch, he got more depth to it.
So Adam Eaton not in the starting lineup with Danny Duffy on the mound. Comes on with Jackson at second base and Frazier at first. And Eaton, more of a contact hitter, has had some success with Herrera. Jackson is the runner at second. Frazier is the runner at first.
Paulo Orlando's got a couple outfield assists in right. Dyson has 5 in left. He's hugging the left field line.
Fastball for strike one.
Lorenzo Cain, center field. He's got 1 outfield assist. See how they're swung over the outfield, especially Dyson. They're all thinking he'll be behind Herrera's fastball.
Changeup. 0-2. So Eaton hasn't seen the slider yet, and he realizes that Herrera's got a good change tonight.
Yeah, you see how that ball just rolls out of those back 3 fingers. It's how you hold it, the change of speed, same arm speed.
Got him. So the White Sox threaten, but Kelvin Herrera strikes out the side. And the Royals come up in the bottom of the 8th inning, still leading by 1.
El Toro. Baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today.
It is not a sellout, but it sure feels and sounds like a sellout as the Royals were up early, then down by 4, and now lead by 1. Kelvin Herrera worked around a single and a walk and ended up striking out the side. And now Nate Jones back to work in the bottom of the 8th. He got the final out of the bottom of the 7th inning. Inning in which the Royals scored 4 runs to retake the lead. Eric Hosmer with 2 on and 2 out put the Royals in front. Hosmer has driven in 4, and now Paulo Orlando extends his hitting streak, going to the opposite field, and the Royals have the leadoff man on.
10-gamer. Nice swing. Short to the ball. That's the Paulo that's been raking that last month. Continuing to rip up fastballs. Look at how short. Look at that. Picks up the foot, sets it right down. Head positions there. Everything on the follow through. Oh, nice.
That's a career high 10-game hitting streak for Paulo Orlando. And up comes Cheslor Cuthbert. White Sox think he's going to bunt. Frazier was way in on the grass. He backs off a few steps now, but he was about 15 feet in off the edge of that grass near third base, or the edge of the dirt at third base. But Cuthbert swinging away and singles to center field. Cheslor Cuthbert has a 2-hit game.
How about the rookie shining bright tonight? All chipping in. Fastball down the middle. Hits it right back up the middle where it was supposed to be hit. Right between the legs. Going good when you don't get a piece of the pitcher there. It would have deflected, and who knows what would have happened.
So Whit Merrifield has a 2-hit game. Cheslor Cuthbert has a 2-hit game, and now Brett Eibner. And I bring up those three because they started in the minor leagues. Poor Carroll can hardly watch as Eibner's going to ask to bunt, and he offered at that pitch, and it's 0-1. Those three, Merrifield, Cuthbert, and Eibner, who started the year at AAA Omaha, are 5 for 11.
Not often you're asking your designated hitter to bunt.
And he gets it down.
Beauty.
Well, it's okay. He got the job done, Mom.
Mom, that's actually good. Fans giving it up for him. How many DHs have you seen put a sac bunt down? Doing the little things. That doesn't count as an at-bat, Mom. He's still hitting .333.
Well, this is Royals baseball for you right here. Brett Eibner is a middle of the order hitter in the minor leagues. Now in the minor leagues, he's not going to be asked to bunt very often in most organizations because his job is to drive in runs. But when you get to the big leagues, you might be batting 8th like he is tonight and need to get a bunt down.
That's a good point.
And now the infield comes in for Gerard Dyson.
Chance to add a little insurance for the waiter out there.
Outside to Dyson. Those three guys we were talking about early, they got their picture taken before the game tonight in preparation of Eibner's first big league game. There is still the possibility of a bunt with Dyson at the plate. And he takes high, 2 balls and no strikes.
Quote from Ned Yost: other guys will have to step up to fill in for Moustakis' production.
Three 3-0. Escobar's on deck. Dyson swinging 3-0.
Hey, if it's a cookie down the middle, why not?
Might be the best pitch he sees.
That's right.
And a little reverse psychology there because, you know, Jones is probably thinking, well, a hitter like Dyson is going to swing 3-0. He's swinging 3-1. Cabrera makes the play, doesn't have much of an arm. And Gerard Dyson comes through. It's a 2-run Royals lead in the 8th inning.
Wow, that was huge. Back-to-back sacks. Sacrifice bunt by Eibner, moved him into scoring position. Gerard Dyson swinging 3-0, and You know, Ned let him go. He's hitting 273 with a runner in scoring position. Why not? And he comes right back to the next pitch, stays on top of it, and got a little bit underneath it. Was perfect.
You're right, though. You could tell by his swing path there that he was really trying to swing down, where the tendency might be to uppercut to make sure you get the ball to the outfield.
Way to go, Doc. And Gerard Dyson.
Fastball at 99 from Jones. Very unique delivery. He looks like a guy throwing a javelin. And then comes back with a slider at 90. It looks like it's going to be kind of a short arm. He brings the ball right up to his ear and then extends out.
You'd think that, you know, the hitter can see that clearly.
Cracked bat. Jones cuts it off, and that's the inning. So the Royals get some insurance. So Wade Davis has a 2-run lead coming in the ninth. Three innings after falling behind 5-1. Royals' biggest inning was a 4-run 7th inning. Take it over, Ed.
How about that 7th inning 4 spot? All started. Rookie Eibner gets his base hit in front of his mom and dad. That started things with 1 out. Escobar got the infield hit. He'll take that. Merrifield says, you know what? That's been a long time. I haven't knocked in a run in the big leagues, and he never has. He got his first 2. Haas says, I'm not done either. And he put a little exclamation point on the inning, knocking his 25th and 26th runs of the year.
Our Ram drives of the game.
Igniting this crowd, and it's on to Wade Davis.
You'll get the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Laurie, Rollins, and Garcia. Wade picked up that 12th save in Minnesota on Tuesday, his 4th save in a week. 1 ball and 1 strike. On Tuesday, Davis came on with a 3-run lead, and the Minnesota Twins loaded the bases with nobody out, and Wade got out of it without allowing a run. Breaking ball strike.
After a little chit chat from head mechanic Dave Island, he went out in the mound and said, hey, come on, quit messing with these hitters, let's go. And Wade Davis said, all right, you got it, boss. Picked it right up. Fastball, cutter, curve.
A little bit high and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals fans have 2 priorities right now. Number 1, they want to win the game. Number 2, they want Wade Davis to strike out Brett Laurie. And Laurie lines it into center field on a tough pitch. So that's his first hit, and the White Sox have their leadoff man on. Panera takes us around the league in the division. It's good news for the Royals as they hone in on second place. Baltimore beats Cleveland. The Mets against Julio Urias in his big league debut, who gave up 3 runs in 2 2/3 innings. New York over Tampa Bay, and Oakland is down to Detroit early on the West Coast. Strike to Jimmy Rollins. In the first 7 innings, the White Sox had the leadoff man on 0 times, and now they've had the leadoff man on in each of the last 2 innings against Herrera and Davis. Hard cutter. 0-2. Outside at 96. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A few years ago, the Royals opened the season, or played their second series of the season in Philadelphia, and Rollins faced Davis, so it's not his first at bat against Wade. He's 1 for 3. Breaking ball, and Angel Hernandez, home plate umpire, says that Rollins got a piece of it. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Davis, he'll work both sides of the plate on righties and lefties, but he loves the cutter in on lefties. Good breaker down. Salvi keeping it in front. He always does.
Able to stop his swing. 2-2. White Sox did all of their scoring in 1 inning. And it came out of nowhere after Danny Duffy retired the first 16. The White Sox scored 5 with 1 out in the 6th inning. Cutter is pulled foul. Still 2-2. White Sox had 5 runs, 5 hits in the 6th inning. Aside from that 1 inning, they have no runs on 3 hits. Still 2-2. Little pop up, and Dyson is there. 1 down in the 9th inning. It's a full day of baseball tomorrow on Fox Sports Kansas City and on the Fox network. Here, the Royals continue their series with the White Sox. Coverage begins at 12:30. Then on Fox, Baseball Night in America returns with St. Louis and Washington at 6 p.m. So baseball tomorrow on Fox Sports Kansas City, or watch the games live on Fox Sports Go. And now a hitter with some power, Avisail Garcia. Laurie at first, 1 out. Cutter is fouled away.
Well, good location there. Garcia saying, man, I was right on that.
2 singles and 5 at-bats for Garcia against Wade Davis. He has 4 home runs this year. Oh, 0-2. That ball just disappeared on Garcia.
I mean, there's a lot of different terms that hitters use for curveballs. Yellow hammer, you know, bender, jelly leg curve. There's all kinds of them. But I tell you, that goes straight down. That is a 12-6 breaker. And it's hard to pick it up, especially when Davis shows him that 97-mile-an-hour fastball up, a four-seamer. It comes out of the same release point. Same plane.
Fastball right by him at 96. 2 down in the ninth. So the Royals are 1 out away from taking game 1. The Royals have 7 comeback wins already this year. This would be their biggest come from behind victory, down by 4 runs at one point.
I'll tell you what, those young players had every bit to do with it. Danny Duffy set the table and set the tone, but the way they're coming back like this has really been nice, especially for the back end of that pin.
Navarro takes strike 1. Navarro is 1 for 3 with a run scored. And he is 1 for 3 against Wade Davis. Skips away from Salvador Perez, and Brett Lawrie moves up to second base. The Royals are not worried about that. All that does is take away the possibility of a force out at second base. It's 0-2 on Navarro. Alex Avila is on the White Sox bench. The White Sox other catcher, he has a couple of career home runs against Wade Davis. Robin Ventura stays with Navarro, and the count is 0-2. Coming up after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. Talk about Brett Eibner and his big league debut, a double, a run scored, sacrifice bunt with mom and dad, another family here. And he can celebrate that fully if the Royals win the game. Strike 3 call.
Waiter, check please.
Big night for Brett Eibner. Big night for Whit Merrifield. A big night for Eric Hosmer. And a big win for the Royals. Down 5-1. It's their biggest come from behind victory of the season. And the Royals, who scored 22 runs in the 3-game Minnesota series, begin the homestand with 7 runs scored.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, it's beautiful, especially when you can believe that you can beat any team down by that deficit. The Royals, they know they're a comeback team. It's in their DNA. But Ned Yost breaking that smile out after getting rained out last night. Everybody was rested. Everybody had a chance to get here. Eibner's parents and folks to see that great win, and he'll never forget this game. The hit's nice, but when you win as a team, and you're the DH and you get a sac bunt down and you're 1 for 3 and your debut as a designated hitter, tough job, and he did it. It was a double.
Royals improved to 3-1 against the White Sox this year. Let's go down to the field, and Joel, in a moment, will have Brett Eibner, who got his first big league hit and scored his first big league run, and Eric Hosmer, who drove in 4. Go ahead, Joel.
Sorry, we didn't want to get caught underneath the tarp. Eric Hosmer, and the major league debut in front of his family for Brett Eibner. I know you've been dreaming about this for a very long time, so as you look up into the stands and see all these Royals fans, not to mention your parents and your siblings and your nephew, What is this like?
It's incredible.
All right, Haas, you can go on the other side now. Now we can officially welcome with the salvi splash just before the rain comes. Salvador Perez has a habit of interrupting interviews. You can proceed now.
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. The ice bath was probably the best one I've ever had in my life, and I got to thank the fans here for welcoming me, and it's been an incredible experience. Got to thank my family for being here, and just glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, the family is up there. I could see your dad and your nephew waving. Tell me about the first hit.
You know, 2-0, I was trying not to get beat, so I was just looking straight heater, and he threw a two-seam in there, and I just put my best swing on it and ran hard as I could.
You've been waiting for this a long time, and we've said it for so many years. Everybody takes a different path. For Eric Hosmer, he got up quickly. You've battled through and battled through. So what does it mean, all that hard work to finally be here?
You know, I can't really explain it because, you know, I got to play with a lot of these guys in the minor leagues, and to watch what they did last year was, you know, another incredible thing for them to accomplish, and I just want to be part of it.
What a memorable debut. Go celebrate with your teammates.
All right, thank you.
And now, we'll get you out of here quickly, Haas, because I know people want to see the fireworks, but you were in the minor leagues with Brett Eibner. What did it mean to see him?
It's special, you know. These guys are working hard down there, and you know, our big guys went down, and these guys, Brett, Witt, Chesler, all these guys are doing a great job filling in their shoes. They're bringing great energy to the team, and they're coming up big for us.
Last thing, and I'll let you go. For you, I mean, you're one of the leaders, if not the leader of this team. You see a couple of really big names go down. How important now is your role on and off the field?
Oh, it's huge, you know. We lost Gordo and Moose in the same play, but these guys have been ready. These guys have been working their tail off. You see it in spring training. They're major league ready, but now they're getting the opportunities, and they're all making the most of it.
Great win tonight.
Thank you, Joel.
All right, Eric Hosmer and Brett Eibner, let the fireworks begin.
Or let the fireworks continue.
That's right.
Big night tonight. 28,508. Brett Eibner signing autographs. His first big league game, his first big league hit, his first big league run scored. And as he said it, it all ends with the best ice bath he's ever had in his life. Eric Hosmer, 5 years ago tonight, 4 hits, including a home run tonight. A home run, 4 RBIs. And that base hit right there put the Royals in front. And then a salvi splash.
Salvi got him up and down.